Hello, everybody. I'm Casey. Thanks for checking this out. And this is a different video. I want to talk about how I beat paranoia. So I'm going to start from the beginning. This isn't going to be long. I'm just going to kind of like touch on the important parts of it throughout my life and how I was able to beat it. So I started having paranoia like around 8 years ago. But like the year before that was when I was like fresh out of high school. So I was still trying to adjust to this adult life. And that was stressful. So I just like put a lot of stress on myself. And I remember like I was starting to have like, I don't want to say panic attacks, but like I was like having like a lot of like mental episodes. Like my sleep schedule was messed up, and what else? Yeah, I just had like these wild thoughts, and it always happened like at night. So it's like, and that's why I started like having like a really messed up sleeping schedule. So then fast forward, it's like a year later. So how my paranoia started. And there's a myriad of things. So I had a girlfriend, and this was back in 2014, and worst year of my life, pretty much. The beginning was the only good part, and then it just kind of like spirals downhill from there. But yeah, I had a girlfriend. I'd recently left college, and then I just started to work a regular job. And, all was well in the world. I thought, okay, now I'm properly adulting. I have a girlfriend. I have a decent job for a 19-year-old at the time. So I thought all was good. So I'm not going to go like too like super in-depth about it. Maybe that'll be for another time. But so basically, so my girlfriend and I, we broke up. And it happened in like a weird circumstance. Like she just kind of ghosted me, and so she's a year younger than me. So by the time I was like out of high school, she was a senior in high school, and I went to a performing arts school. And for some reason, like rumors were starting to happen between her and I, and I'm very low profile when I date, so I didn't like the fact that was happening. Like there was talks like behind my back and stuff, especially about people that I thought who were my friends. Yeah, maybe some of you guys can relate to that. But so then yeah, after we broke up and she ghosted me, so then at my job I worked from like 10 o'clock to 1 o'clock a.m. Sorry about that. The wind is blowing my blinds. So, what was I saying? Oh yeah, I worked that day from like 10 o'clock to 1 a.m. So 10 o'clock in the morning to all the way to 1 o'clock a.m. And you're probably asking like, that's too many hours. And the reason for that is because I was like covering for somebody else's shift. I was supposed to get out earlier, but we were like really short-staffed. I work at a restaurant. I'm not going to say what it was. It wasn't fast food, but it was just like a dine-in restaurant, and it was the worst job I ever had. So there was one day, and it was like the very last day I worked there. And it's the day I'm talking about, the 10 o'clock to 1 a.m. day. By that, I was like overworked. And like I said, like my girlfriend and I broke up. There were people talking behind my back. So I just had like all these negative thoughts going on in my head at once. And it was terrible. So I was overworked. And I remember just like, I started to get really dizzy at work. And I was like, okay, something's not right. But I continued to push through it. And so I remember it just started to get more tough and tough. I always had to like clean the fryers, which was the worst part. I hated it and I never knew how to figure it out. so it always took me longer than everybody else. And then I just had to like do so much more other stuff at work, and by that time I'm just so over it and I want to go home. And so the last thing I had to do, and nobody at my job was like, there was not a lot of nice people at my work. I got yelled at a lot. So I remember the last thing I had to do was take out the trash, and it was heavy, and you guessed it, the bag ripped. And I remember I just like stood there for like a minute, not saying anything, wanting to scream but couldn't. I left, and that was the last thing I remember. So I didn't remember driving home. And that was like the weirdest thing. When I woke up the next day, I was like, I don't remember driving home. So I was like super worried that I might have hit something with my car. And I didn't. So I guess like what happened is that I was so overworked. Like I guess when I drove home, like I was fine. But like when I went to bed, like I lost like that last hour of that day, which kind of scared me. So how I beat my paranoia, this went on for like, I want to say like 4 or 5 years. Like this kept going on, and I never told anybody about that. And I want to encourage everybody to always talk to somebody about that, because it's paranoia and anxiety is like terrible, and you should always talk to somebody. Even if you don't have a therapist, like talk to like a friend you trust. Like if maybe you have like a really good parent who can help you through that. But I didn't tell anybody for 4 or 5 years because for some reason I felt like nobody was gonna believe me, and like I don't know why I thought that, but I just always thought nobody was gonna believe me, and I thought everybody was against me, and that's what paranoia does. It lies to you. Like even at like family parties. Like, I have a big family, so they would hold, like, family parties. Somehow, like, my brain was convincing myself that somebody said my name, and they're not saying anything good about me. So, like, my brain would, like tell itself that somebody said my name in the other room. So I would, like, leave the room and see what they were talking about, and they weren't talking about me. So, like, and then I would leave, but I would hear my name be called again. And I thought that, like, everybody was against me, including my family. And that's what paranoia does. It's terrible. I wouldn't wish that on anybody. So, fast forward, how I got over it. Well, it's simple. I finally talked to somebody about it after 4 or 5 years of bottling that up. And don't bottle anything up. It's terrible. And I finally told them, like, what I was thinking, like, how it's making me feel. And then, like, instantly it just felt so much better. And then, like months later, I just felt so much better. Like, I didn't have thoughts like, you know, people are talking about me behind my back, or I didn't have thoughts where it's like, you know, I felt like everybody was against me, and I felt so much better. And I was still having like a few episodes after that, but then like eventually it just all went away. And I know like I didn't beat it like as quickly as I wanted to, and I recommend you go to a therapist or talk to somebody, because I kept that in for 4 or 5 years. But that's why I'm making this video, so that you guys can like learn from my mistakes of keeping that to myself and talking to somebody, going to therapy, and like talking to people really does help, because people need people. That's how I look at it. And you're going to meet all kinds of people, some you like, some you don't like, some who might not have a good feeling about you, or somebody who just thinks you're awesome, and we just kind of have to take it with a grain of salt. And yeah, so like years after that, like 2019, that's when like I didn't have any of those episodes anymore, and like I just felt free. I just felt like I don't care what people say about me now. Like I'm just happier as a person now, and like I just need myself, and I was able to like write music a lot better, and yeah, it just felt free. So I hope this video helped. If you're going through the same thing, and if you've beaten it, yeah, leave some comments. Tell me if you've ever been through something like that before. I would like to hear, and I would like to make more videos like this if you guys are into it. So I'll see you guys next time. See ya.